We are live again. It's all going on. How are you all on this glorious Tuesday? Yeah, you get to choose because it's Tuesday. No, you don't really. I'm making it up. But a few things going on today. You have to let me know what you've seen, what you heard, what's going on, what is the word. But I've got a few things to go through myself. Yes, I do. I am the wizard, as you all know. And this is Wizard Words. And today, believe it or not, yeah, I thought, why not? We're on YouTube and Rumble. Thought I'd give Rumble a go as well. I did try it before. It didn't go too well, to be fair. It's bad enough being shadow banned by YouTube, but I don't know what Rumble does. I don't think it goes into all that. But it was just really bad. Like, if no one sees your video, what's the point? That's basically it in a nutshell, don't you think? But yeah, let me know what you think, whether you're on YouTube or Rumble. I should be able to see all the chat, I hope. It's all happy days. But with everything that's going on, I thought, we need to go through the news, but we've got to look at this Islamophobia thing, because it's really strange. It's strange. Like, you invent something to shut you up, like Islamophobia, because I don't want to be talking about Islamophobia. Oh, no. So that's just a complete and utter invention. But the irony is, then you look at Islam and it's like xenophobic. It's literally xenophobic because you know what they're like, blimey heck. And the actual definition of which I'm going to bring up so you can actually see it for yourselves. Do you know what I mean? Because don't just take the wizard's word for it, but having or showing a dislike or prejudice against people from other countries. Yes, that is exactly what Islam is. It hates foreigners, it hates non-believers, hates all countries that aren't under Sharia law. Literally, Islam is xenophobic. By definition, it is xenophobic. Yet they want to invent words like Islamophobia to stop you talking about Islam. In the world of Keir Starmer and the world's worst government ever in the history of this country. So yeah, I thought, need to clarify that. So go around saying it's this, that, and everything else. It's xenophobic. That is Islam. So if they call you Islamophobic or anything like that, so well, you're xenophobic, and then they'll probably have to go and look it up. But Islam hates everyone that's not Muslim, basically. Don't matter where you're from, what you're doing, but yeah, anything foreign, anything strange, xenophobic. That is Islam. So yeah, I thought I'd just clarify, like, while they're inventing Islamophobia, there is xenophobic, which you can just throw at them. Xenophobic, xenophobic. But yeah, I thought, be worth showing that. But once again, I have to admit, Israel say it's a disgrace that Labour runs Britain, and I thought, blimey heck, mate. Even Israel knows. America knows. David Wood does videos. He knows from Apologetics Roadshow. Check him out on YouTube. It's hilarious. Like, every single person on this planet seems to know that it's a disgrace that Labour runs the country. But except for Labour and except for all the people that obviously support him. But how can you support such doom and gloom? And I mean, anything and everything that's never ever been ever mentioned, they bring up and mention it and do it. And like, they're just going to take all your money, all your tax. It's awful. There must be a way, like, even say, I don't know, can the king step in and say, about time we done something for the people? Do him a favour. Do him a favour. I'll tell you. It literally, I mean, people would look at the king a bit differently maybe if he turned up and just said, look, I'll tell you what, see this government, get rid, dissolve it. It's awful. It is not working. Let's take it to the ballot boxes. Why can't he do that? He's a blooming king. But no. Which is a bit weird. But I'm definitely with Israel. Israel, i.e. Netanyahu, So it was a disgrace that Labour runs Britain after party members voted to accuse the country of genocide in Gaza. I know, like, being accused of things that's not there. Genocide. There's no one there. Everyone was told by Israel to do a runner, get out. Hamas said, no, you can stay there. We're hiding behind you, human shields. And when you're talking about like a couple of million people and there's only been, say, 50, 60,000 unfortunate innocent deaths, that's not genocide, is it? If you had like 2 million people and they killed like 1.5 million, then yeah, that's a genocide. But, as we all know, Islamists, Hamas, like to accuse people of what they're doing. The whole idea of October the 7th was to genocide the Jews, so that's why they're throwing it about. But there is no genocide, there is no starvation, it's all rubbish. I've said it before, all the starving kids you see were the big, seriously fat, obese mums, born through incest, genetic diseases. Benjamin Netanyahu's government claimed that Labour stands with Hamas following a ballot of activists at the party conference in Liverpool on Monday. Yeah, exactly. And the funny thing is, we've all got to bow to Islam, even though we're a Christian country. So not only are we having to say, right, okay, we can see you actually condone paedophilia, now we've got to condone incest. What, all because of Islam and Muslims? I don't think so. It's disgusting. Incest and paedophilia should be illegal. Oh, I thought it was, to be fair, but no, because of Islam and being called Islamophobic. Ooh. How you doing, Slim? Hope you're well on this glorious Tuesday. But let me know what you think in the comments. I mean, incest. I mean, even the NHS saying what they did about incest. I mean, blimey heck. It's crazy. Oh, it's literally 1 o'clock. Yeah, you are right, guys. Even I didn't click on that one. But yes, it's afternoon. Hope you're all well. Jump in the comments. Let me know what you think. I'm not saying everything I'm saying is correct. Oh, I hope it is. I try to keep it all on facts. But obviously, I'll still also give my opinion on my view. Of course I do. But how on earth can any society allow paedophilia and incest in the name of religion? I mean, what on earth is going on? It's like we're living in a blooming Twilight Zone. It's just absolutely disgraceful. Oh, don't believe it. There's so much. Nearly in every stream I'd say something, and I'm like, I don't believe it. It's crazy. Ugh. It is. They give it all that about second cousins, and now they're saying they can marry first cousins, all in the name of Islam. I mean, there's literally family. It's family. I mean, who do they think we are? They're all family. But Islam, because we get called Islamophobic, we have to then step back and say, okay, we allow a paedophile prophet, and now we allow incest relationships. I mean, I mean, it's absolutely crazy. There is no genocide, no. And they don't openly state so either. You literally just look what's on screen. Accuse the country of genocide in Gaza. There is no genocide whatsoever. And the whole purpose of October 7th, although you may call it a massacre, the intent was to genocide the Jews as written in the Quran. The Quran clearly states to kill the Jews and then the Christians, to kill all the Saturday people and then the Sunday people. Kill all non-believers. The whole idea of Hamas was to literally wipe Israel off the map. A genocide. That's the thing, you see. Islam likes to accuse everyone of doing what they're doing. It's like, look at this hand while we're doing that. Do you know what I mean? It's terrible. Islam literally wants to kill all the Jews and then the Christians. That part, wake up. Oh yeah, let's let in all these illegal immigrants. Let's let in all these Islamist men, because there seems to be no women and children. They're all coming from Afghanistan when there's like no reason to be coming from Afghanistan, because like we said yesterday, the only thing in Afghanistan, the problem is what? Unemployment. So they're coming here with their Islamic ways to be sleeper cells and probably just be like a cancer. They'll be like a cancer and they'll be super cells and just boosh, They will try and obliterate Britain from within. Exactly that, Slim. Yeah. I did see a video earlier. They're saying like the population of Palestine, even with the war in that, is going up. So the population grows, but it's a genocide. Yeah, all right. Yeah, that's Islam and Hamas in it saying it. That's why. I mean, Netanyahu's right to stand up and say, "Hang on, stop accusing us of a genocide." We've been they've been sending text messages, phone calls, leaflets, everything. Boom, boom, boom. Guess out. Hamas physically stopped them from getting out of the areas. Say, no, you're going to be martyred, and we want to hide behind you. And we'll hide under hospitals, schools. And Israel done every single thing they possibly could. I mean, it's literally their actions in a war are unprecedented. For trying to keep any innocence to a minimum. But then, like I said before, 66,000 Islamic terror attacks in the last 50 years, killing over 250,000 people. And we're talking maybe 40, 50, 60,000 here with unfortunate innocent deaths in a war. And they want to call that as a genocide, but then they want to ignore the fact that they've murdered over 250,000 innocent people during Islamic terrorism attacks. Yeah, all right. So when you got people like the media saying that Israel are proud of their genocide and hopefully states like that is 100% BS. At no point ever has Israel said, "Oh, we're proud of our genocide." No, Hamas and Islam are proud of their genocide and the massacre, as you call it, of October the 7th. They're proud of that because it's in their Quran, it's in their hadiths. Hate the Jews, hate the Christians, kill the Jews, kill the Christians. So, yeah, the fact that Israel have done what they've done in the way they've done it, I think Israel actually sort of need a bit of respect. But you know what it's like. Something wrong. Oh, we've got to blame the Jews. Oh, well, Hamas said that. Okay, all right, we'll do that. And we've got all the Palestine Action idiots supporting Islamic terrorism, standing with the Palestinians. You know, over 3,000 of them ran into Israel to kill Jews because they wanted to help Hamas. They voted in Hamas, and we got to stand here watching these idiots. I mean, they all need arresting and banging up. Go around supporting Islamic terrorism, and they got signs saying illegal immigrants welcome here. No, we don't want an Islamic terrorist in our country, thank you very much. So, as far as I can see, Israel doing the world a favour, like get rid of Hamas. But obviously with turnabouts now with Donald Trump, hopefully put an end to it. We don't want to see innocent deaths. So, Labour members defied Keir Starmer. Notice I'm not reading that SIR word because he's not. By voting in favour of a motion calling on the Prime Minister to accept the findings of a recent UN report. Bear in mind, UN like to work with Hamas, which said Israel was committing genocide, as well as urging him to back a full arms embargo. Don't think so. Absolute rubbish. See, that's how bad it is. The UN and the Hamas together are refusing to send all the aid out, whereas Israel, the bits that they're in charge of, they are getting all their aid out. How funny is that? But you don't see that on the news, do you? The government's position remains that Israel's actions during its war on Hamas do not amount to genocide. There we go. So that sort of like puts it into perspective. All these people trying to make out this, that, and everything else. It's all rubbish. So the whole purpose of October the 7th was genocide Jews, and now they want to make out they're committing a genocide themselves when they're not. So there. In response to the vote, the Israeli Foreign Minister said, while Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President Donald Trump are working tirelessly in Washington to end the war in Gaza, the Labour Party chooses to embrace Hamas and fully adopt its lies, including the fake genocide campaign. Exactly. See, how come everyone see it? And above all, because they want to stand with Palestine Islamic terrorism, of course they do. So it doesn't matter what you say, how you say it. Nope, nope, nope. The world stands with the US and Israel in their efforts to end the war. Labour stands with Hamas. It's a disgrace for Britain that this is the party in power. I know. Do you know how embarrassing it is? Say in Britain, and we got to like suck it up because Labour want to support Hamas and Islamic terrorism. Surprised Labour haven't come out and said, oh, by the way, 9/11 was a good idea. Do you know what I mean? It's going that way. They'll think, oh no, but that wasn't Islamic terrorism. That was the Jews. Let's lie about that as well. They say the things we got to part. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on this, because obviously it's not all about me, geez. But it's terrible. I mean, what part of the people as a whole want to recognise Palestine and agree that there's a genocide? It's probably about like 1%, all because they are supporting Palestine action. Relations between the British and Israeli governments have soared after Keir recognised Palestinian statehood. Yeah, Palestine. Right. So there's no such thing as Palestinian DNA. Palestinians do not exist because Palestine doesn't exist. It's Judea and Samaria, land of the Jews. They're literally trying to go back on what's said in the Quran and the Bible, saying it's a land of the Jews, given to them by God. But now they're saying, no, it's not. So going back on God's word, that's very, 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 very dangerous. I mean, good luck with that. The Prime Minister said in July that he would recognise Palestine as a state if Israel did not meet a number of conditions. Yeah, I wouldn't have met him either. But like, Starmer, who are you? Like, we're fighting a war, you idiot. Including immediate ceasefire. Yeah. Okay, yeah. They're trying to genocide us, wipe Israel off the map. They don't want us. They're trying to kill us, and then they're going to be going for you, by the way, as Christians. But we're just going to stop. We're just stop after what they done on October the 7th because Starmer said so. Said no one ever. Ceasefire in Gaza and a commitment to a two-state solution. Oh, how backwards can your own Prime Minister be? I mean, it's embarrassing to be British at the moment. These conditions were rejected, and rightly so, by Netanyahu's administration, prompting Keir to recognise Palestine on the eve of the UN General Assembly summit. That's probably the worst thing ever you could have ever done, is recognise Palestine. Absolutely crazy. I don't know what that means. We should have never gave them recognition of a state. They fall short of the target on so many points. I know, it's absolutely embarrassing. I mean, there's never been a Palestine. You had the British state of Palestine, and in the Roman days, they tried to wipe out the Jews, so they called it Palestina. Do you know what I mean? There's all that, but there's never a Palestine. There's no history. Well, about 70 years worth where they've just come and occupied the Jewish land, and then they want to make out that they're the indigenous people and everything. I've heard it all. I'm like, are you for real? 3,000 years of Jewish history, 70 years of Palestine trying to basically steal that part of the land to make it all there. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Deputy Speaker, which you posted, born Gaza now, nothing less, and now we all have one common goal, erasing the Gaza Strip from the face of the earth. I haven't got a clue what you put all those dits and bots and all that. Any chance you could like write it in English so I could read it? But yeah, you need to wipe the Gaza Strip, just splat it, clean it all up. Get rid of Hamas completely, 100%. Yep. Yeah, nothing wrong with getting that off the face of the earth, is there? I mean, is it really that hard for Israel and the Jews to actually try and like live in peace? YouTube and how to post it? What? Looks like there's a name there. Nissim Venturi posted. I assume that's let's try and work it out. So I was going to like born, but it's burn Gaza now, nothing less. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. And now we all have one common goal: erasing the Gaza Strip from the face of the earth. Yeah. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. Then you can rebuild it. Get rid of Nissim Venturi. Oh right, okay. I've not heard of him. Deputy Speaker. But yep, there's nothing wrong with that. Start again. To remove all the education system under Hamas, where they got far for the mouse, teaching kids to kill Jews, hate Jews, and that. I mean, they're indoctrinated from school as kids upwards. That all needs to go. So the Gaza Strip needs to just be boosh. And then, like they said last night with Netanyahu and Trump, invite them all back. I said the Gaza Strip, not the people. And no, it's not a genocide. What is your fascination about calling for genocide when there is no genocide? You can say there's a starvation when all these babies were born through incest and have genetic diseases and they got big fat obese mums, innit? No, I'm not deluded with hate. I'm speaking with facts, and obviously to a degree my opinion and views as well. The Gaza Strip needs to be literally obliterated because of all the tunnels, this, that, everything else. And then, like they said last night, Netanyahu and Trump, then they'll be inviting them all back alive because there's no genocide. And then they can start rebuilding and Gaza could grow as an actual decent place where you're not indoctrinated to hate Jews and kill Jews and Christians. That would be perfect. So I don't see a problem with literally splatting it because there's no people there at the moment. They are literally just flattening it, and all the tunnels and this, that, they all need to be filled in. And then what's wrong with that? To invite the people back, and then Gaza could actually be like proactive without Hamas, drop all this hate taught to them by Islam and the religious texts of the Quran and the Hadith. So there's actually, like, there would be no issue. Atheists, agnostics, the Jewish. But it's funny because there's like 2 million Muslims live in Israel. But then you go to an Islamic state, there's like 0 Jews. Funny that. So who's the problem? Islam. So to sit there going, oh, you're proud of genocide. There is no genocide. And there's nothing wrong with flattening Gaza so they can rebuild and start again, especially under the rules, say, or under the management, should we say, of Donald Trump and other people. It'd be the best thing that can happen, but they have to drop the hatred from the Quran and the Hadiths. Otherwise, there's no chance, sadly, because it's just going to be redone. The Palestinian people, if you can call them that, the people that live in Judea and Samaria and Gaza, the Gazans, will probably vote in something else that would be classed as an Islamic terrorist organisation and end up with another Islamic state like the others. 9 out of 10 don't even work. People just want to run from it. It's awful. So yeah, flatten Gaza, start again. Good idea. But anyway, Israel responded by saying that the decision taken by the British government, as well as those of France, Canada and Australia, did nothing more than reward Hamas. Exactly. And that's the problem, because they're even on record saying the fruits of October the 7th are in fruitation. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. They fell into it. That's how stupid Keir Starmer is. I mean, let me know in the comments how stupid Keir Starmer is. Labour has endured high-profile splits over the war in Gaza, and 10 of its front benchers resigned or were sacked in November 2020 after backing an immediate ceasefire. Keir announced his intention to recognise Palestine after pressure from cabinet colleagues to move to a policy of immediate recognition. That's one of the most embarrassing moves in the history of this country, isn't it? I mean, it's literally up there as letting all these blooming rubber dinghies in, isn't it? Absolutely awful. But yeah, the sooner they can just wipe out Islam from that area, the better. So they lived in a Muslim. Yeah, can you prove that then, Mohammed? Oh, look at your name, Mohammed. Are you named after a dog? Oh no, prophet. Sorry, my bad. You, if you're lucky, you'll get 1%. But in Israel, you've got 2 million Muslims. But if you go to any Islamic state, there'll be 0, near enough 0, 1% or less. Oh, someone's got it. This is Islam, the religion of peace we're seeing on screen right now. This is it. Look at that. I know too much and Mohammed doesn't like it. He's going to condone his paedophile prophet. How sad. change your account. I can do that. Oh, yeah. Mohammed, as if anyone. Yeah, well said. Uh, what? Because I'm fully aware of Sahir Al-Bukhari 5134. Aisha being 6 years old and raped, forced to have sex when she was 9 to consummate the marriage. Is that what you're saying, Mohammed? You condone that? And incest, obviously. That's the problem. They did say with the, do you remember the ancestry? They say, oh, do your DNA and this and that. And they tried to squash it because in Pakistan, incest rates were 6,000% higher. And they tried to squash the information because if that got out, but obviously it did. 6,000% higher incest. It's disgraceful. My wife, Lim, I'm sorry you're alone. What are you on about? I'm married with 6 kids, mate. What's your problem, Mohammed? Mohammed? As if I think I can hear the call to prayer. Time to sniff the floor. Yeah. Yeah. But do they live in Morocco now? Christians believe God knocked up a minor with another God. No. Made Jay's and you celebrate every year. Well, that's totally wrong. With your paedophile prophet. Did you know Aisha used to say that before prayer she used to have to scrape semen off Muhammad's clothes? Was he homosexual? I think he was. First and second cousin marriages are incest. Sort it out. It's all incest. Islam allows incest and paedophilia. So here, Al-Bukhari 5134. Look it up before you want to say anything. Alan Snackbutt, welcome, or else. Yeah, that's basically it, isn't it? Or else, because that's the way Islam does what they do. That's why Hamas exists. That's why Hezbollah and Al-Qaeda and all the attacks we've had, because obviously they get so butthurt because they got a paedophile prophet. There's no way out of it. Oh, but they didn't. The ages and that. Oh, but you had a king and oh, you had this. And what does that matter? This is it. They start throwing names, but I can shut them up in one easy step. Einstein was incestuous, but was Einstein a prophet from God like the fake Muhammad claimed? No. So you can't compare apples and oranges. If you want to compare Prophet Muhammad as being a paedophile, then obviously go and find me another prophet. Oh no, there wasn't any like that, because obviously Muhammad's fake. God would not allow a paedophile to be a prophet from God. So, how pathetic. So, yeah, yes, your God was a groomer. Yes, he groomed people. He had sex slaves. Yeah, he's a warlord. There was absolutely nothing pleasant at all in any shape or form to do with Islam. Read the Quran and Hadith. So I've got you can see the Quran there. Let me make it bigger. There's a Quran there. I've read it. What do you want to say? No, you've got issues in the Quran because you say it's a word of God, but it's got more mistakes in it than ever, and it's got more evil stuff in it. It's from Satan. So trying to work out that like, oh, the Bible this and that, this is what they do. They got to try and start comparing it and say, oh, Christians this and Christians that. Well, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about Islam, and we're talking about the possibilities, you know, of God allowing a man who's in his mid-50s to get with a 6-year-old. Are you for real? You want to turn around and say the Bible's got issues? Hello? Oh my God. Exactly that. Hope you're well, business. Good to have you here. But no, I did go on the march. What's that got to do with it? Because you want to say, oh, you went on the march, you support Tommy Robinson, you're racist. No. Like I said, Islam is xenophobic. It has a fear of anything foreign or strange, i.e. Western countries. It's disgraceful. So, that's totally wrong. Mohammed's lying, everybody. Call him out. Get in the comments. Mohammed, you liar. 90-year-old Joseph. Where'd you get that from? Mary's 12. Yeah, where did you get that from? Oh, there's absolutely nowhere in the Bible where it clearly states any age. So Muhammad is lying. As if Muhammad. As if Muhammad. As if. Allah. Yes. He, what's it called? Even Muhammad had to have semen scraped off his clothes. I mean, how did that get on him? You got no facts, Mohammed. That's your problem. You're talking out your backside. There's literally post links to proof that Joseph was 90-year-old and Mary was 12. And in a minute it'll be coming out. Rebecca was 3, but she was carrying big 50-gallon jugs of water like 3-year-olds do. Said no one ever. So it's absolutely pathetic. So yeah, I think Islam is doomed. Basically, Islam is full of satanic evil. Imagine like praying to a man that married a 6-year-old. I mean, blimey heck. He had sex slaves. He was a slave owner. He was a warlord. He had mental illness. He was homosexual. He was a paedophile. And they got to tell us that they think Islam is real. Are you for... Yep, that's my dodgy laugh. What? That's my. Are you serious? Are you serious? If you have kids, you're, as a woman, as a mother, you would not be looking at Islam in any shape or form. Would you let your 6-year-old get married? No, you wouldn't. No. Oh, okay then. Islam is fake. It's pure and utter evil. Oh, there's nothing real about it, ladies and gents. I mean, blimey. At least we have Jesus, who was not a paedophile, who did not walk around covered in semen, and didn't claim that the sun sets in a muddy puddle and go flying around someplace on a donkey. And was it one shin, one eye? Oh dear, rubbish. The vote of Labour members was non-binding, and David Lammy, yeah, I'm back on it, the Deputy Prime Minister and Justice Secretary, refused to move on the government's position on Gaza. Mr Lammy said it must be for the International Court of Justice and the International Criminal Court to determine the issues of genocide, not for politicians like me. Exactly. And if you're going to actually let all these Hamas people just leave, they're going to let all the leaders and that under this agreement go. Literally no comeuppance. They're not going to pay in any shape or form for their crimes. So why on earth do you expect people to then try and get Netanyahu to be arrested for what? It's all said and done. It's like, not that he's poor in any shape or form. He's just done everything that he possibly could. Where's Streeting, the health secretary? He lies. Oh my God, I don't like him at all. Suggested on Tuesday Israel's guilty of war crimes and ethnic cleansing. No, that's Islam. That's the problem. See, we got people in politics that haven't got a clue. Asked about the vote, Mr. Streeting said, I think the Labour Party conference has shown the strength of feeling on this issue and the palpable fears that many people have. No, they don't. Streeting's talking for himself. What an idiot. Was at an event last night with the Palestinian ambassador who voiced exactly the same concern. You do know that the Palestinians actually voted in Hamas, and they probably would do so today as well, because it all helps them in their support for genociding the Jews and ethnic cleansing, as you want to use that. And look, what we are seeing on the ground in Gaza is intolerable loss of innocent civilian life because of October the 7th. What a surprise. Richard Tice, the Deputy Leader of Reform UK, met Isaac Herzog, the Israeli President. Mr. Tice said, delighted to meet President Herzog today to reaffirm our support to Israel and the importance of a strong relationship between our two great countries. Exactly that. But as you can see, that is Islam. It's xenophobic. They try and make out islamophobia exists, which it doesn't. It's absolutely... I seem to know more than you, mate. You're trying to make out I know nothing about Islam. Tell me, what do you know then? Because you're... No, it's not thriving. Oh, the lies. I'll have to catch up with you. You're... Look, here we go. Oh, I said that, didn't I? Whee! No, she wasn't. Again, can you please... I would like a chapter and verse from the Bible in order for you to back up what you just said there. Muhammad, you liar. Good afternoon. Google it. Oh, no, you don't Google. I want it from the Bible, mate. The source is the Bible. Yeah, truth. I know everything about Islam. It's just evil. No, it's not. The only reason Islam has more followers birth rate. Nothing to do with anyone converting. You will find, go to Iran, 40,000 mosques have closed. Why is that, Mohammed? Because no one wants to follow this, what is it, Sharia law, paedophile prophet, none of it. They don't want none of it. So you're absolutely full of it. So yes, that is it. Business Australia, Islam is declining. That they want to claim birth rates, don't they? Their little prophet from God would not get wed at 12. A prophet from God is on a whole different level. It's not a king. It's not an emperor. It's a prophet from God. So yeah. So well, I've just shut you up. You didn't seem to know that you're following a paedophile. You are literally following a paedophile. That's like this day and age, you going and saying, yes, I condone Jeffrey Epstein. That's exactly what you're doing with the Prophet Muhammad. And you're named after the paedophile as well. Gutted. I would even call my dog Muhammad. Jews from Europe and America should go back. Why? They're good people. They're nice people. They're not trying to blow people up and kill people. These people brainwashed into compliance and beaten into slavery. Yep, exactly that. Muddy pools. Yep, the sun sets in a muddy pool. According, you know, the Quran is the word of God. It's true. Hey, semen comes from the ribs. Poor Muhammad. May he find Jesus Christ and find the light, because he seems a little bit confused. He's following the equivalent of Jeffrey Epstein. Well, Muhammad's talking rubbish now, so I'll ignore what he's saying, because he can't really so I'm trying to find my next link. This story tell you about Islam as well, because you know their mentality. These people. Look at this man who follows Islam. What a lovely man in society he is. The migrant who beat up 5 of his girlfriends was allowed to stay in the UK. And for what I had before I went through this, because I don't want to upset his daughter. He actually beats up his girlfriends and he has a daughter. I mean, what planet is Islam from? It's full on cuckoo nest. Wow. Imagine being that lost in life that you follow a paedophile prophet. Yeah, it is a giggle, Slim. Israel's the only civilized democracy in the entire Middle East. Yep. So, Muhammad, we're talking about paedophile prophet in Islam. We're talking about Islam. We're not talking about Christianity. That's what this is up here. We're talking about Islam. This is the mentality of it. Imagine beating up 5 of your girlfriends. What a lovely man you must be, said no one ever. A migrant who believes in Islam carried out a string of domestic violence attacks and beat up 5 of his girlfriends and was allowed to stay in Britain. I mean, how does it work? Hamilton George de Silva Pino was judged to be a risk of serious harm after he threw an electric heater and a steam mop at partners as part of his long-running spree of domestic violence. Because the Quran says clearly you can beat your woman. Even the paedophile Muhammad, Aisha, married her at 6, but he beat her. In it, the Quran, it says that her skin was as green as her dress. He actually bruised her, he beat her up. Yeah, a man beating up a woman. What an absolute pathetic wimp. There's no way he's a man of God in any shape or form. He's totally deluded. The Portuguese man also threatened to throw acid at his girlfriend and was issued with a restraining order against another. An asylum court heard. Wow, what an absolute lovely specimen of a man, said no one ever. Despite being jailed for almost a year, Pingo was allowed to stay in the country because of the emotional effect his deportation would have on his child. an immigration judge previously concluded, despite father and son not living together. Oh, son. I thought he had a daughter. Different one said a daughter, so. You're doing the child a favour by getting him out. Get him away from that child. Following a Home Office appeal, the case will now be heard again with Upper Tribunal Judge Helen Remington agreeing that the verdict needed to be reassessed on the grounds of legal error. Get him out. The 37-year-old entered the UK with his parents in 2009. Upper Tribunal of the Immigration Asylum Chamber heard and visited Portugal between 2018 and 2019, despite claiming to have little connection with family or friends there. So another one that seeks asylum and goes home. What is going on? I must seek asylum. My life is at risk. I will go back on holiday. He was granted leave to remain in the UK for 5 years in November 2019, despite a criminal record which included a 20-month prison sentence for actual bodily harm and assault by beating. See, oh, what a lovely man. This is Islam, ladies and gents. This is Islam. Pino was described as a perpetrator of domestic violence against 5 women, including his current partner. And one victim claimed he had thrown an electric heater and a steam mop at her, as well as threatening to hit her with a weight and throw acid in her face. I mean, this bloke is full on cuckoo nest. This is like doolally. Why would you want people like this in your country? The whole Islamic ideology is just off its nut. He will remain subject to a restraining order until 2028. And has also been prosecuted for threatening, abusive words or behaviour, as well as shoplifting, battery, and the destruction of property. Oh, it gets worse. This man needs to be deported immediately. Can we not just do that to anyone who follows Islam? Just close all the mosques, close all those horrible Sharia courts that are just, that are oppressive to women. Just get rid of the lot of it and class it as an oppressive death cult. That's what Islam is. The Home Office issued a deportation notice for Pino in November 2023, but it was refused on the grounds of human rights claim. Yet there's no human rights for the 5 victims. Funny that. A judgment from the First-Tier Tribunal hearing found that it would be unduly harsh for his child to remain in the UK without him. No, it would be a good thing. The best thing that happened to that child is get the father away from him. Obviously, he's not anyone that you'd look up to in any shape or form. Mr. Pino is assessed as posing a medium risk of serious harm to children based on the potential for children to witness his abusive behaviour. However, there is nothing to indicate he has behaved abusive in front of his children at this stage. I find the evidence demonstrates a particularly close relation of very strong emotional bonds, and that there is strong likelihood of emotional damage to the child if Pino is deported to Portugal. They get that, but what? That makes 0 sense. Home Office appealed the decision because the 37-year-old failed to accept responsibility for all his offending. Yeah, because it's in the Quran, it's in the Hadiths, that's what they do. It has entrenched pattern of abusive behaviour towards female partners, which pose a risk of serious harm to his child, ex-partner and future partners. Yeah, it's an absolute Fruit Loop. Pino's 2-year-old child was born 2 months before Pino was sent to prison, from which he was released in September 2024. He lives with his mother, who is a primary carer. Now, you want to make sure his mum's all right and all, because he'd probably beat her up as well. Judge Remington said there had been a procedural error in the initial verdict involving the judge exceeding his powers in considering the human rights appeal. I'd just be like, mate, no. Blimey heck. It's absolutely crazy. We don't need people like that. I mean, there's enough people in this country that are a bit doolally already, but it's absolutely disgraceful. Get him out. We do not need that sort of ideology and that sort of person. No, we don't. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. My fingers are non-compliant today. Gonna go and get some bacon rolls. Whee! Good old British bacon. Mark. And then the kid can see the dad, who's clearly an a-hole, going to prison or getting sent away. Yeah, that's it. I mean, it makes literally no sense. If you stay in the UK for 5 years, you get indefinite leave to remain. So it was benefit framed as a punishment, really. Yeah, it is benefit framed as a punishment. Yeah, it's pathetic. I don't get it. Like, in that circumstance, just get him out. You go around, if you can beat up 5 girlfriends. I mean, he now lives with his mum. I'll be worried for his mum's safety. Get it? Muhammad would have loved it. Oh, Muhammad. Muhammad was a little bit crazy. That'd be a nice juicy one. 2 terabyte, that's huge. Slim's gonna be living the dream. A man who threatened Jewish families sentenced after trying illegally buy guns for God's wrath. I mean, once again, it's another Muslim. All we seem to have is constant Islamic ideology being parasitic in everywhere it goes. Yeah, take it easy, Slim. Live the dream. Have a good day. But you need to let me know in the comments what you think about all this, because I can't be the only one that actually sees Islam for what it is, like the pure sick ideology that it is. After threatening attendance of a Jewish preschool and seeking to purchase weapons, a Dearborn man in America was sentenced to 34 months prison for illegal possession of firearms inside a gun store, the Michigan Eastern District U.S. Attorney's Office announced Wednesday. Sanchez had pleaded guilty to illegal possession of multiple firearms on May the 28th, after originally being charged in 2022 with ethnic intimidation and for lying on federal firearm forms about being a convicted felon. They are, I tell you, anything in the name of Islam, they think it's all Kushti. I don't get it. The 38-year-old had driven through a parking lot of Bloomfield Hills Synagogue on December the 2nd, harassing Jewish parents as they walked their preschool children, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. See, they're actually with their kids, but they don't care. See, I mean, they don't care about kids or nothing or no one. It's terrible. The Michigan man hurled anti-Semitic profanities, attacked stances on Israel, and threatened them that they would pay. So he's an absolute Fruit Loop. The Detroit Free Press reported at the time that Chocker told Jewish congregants that they were going to die. See, that's the Islamic ideology there. After being asked to leave, Chocker went to a firearms store where he possessed a Landor Arms 12-gauge semi-automatic shotgun, a Delton 5.56mm rifle, and a Glock 9mm semi-automatic pistol, pointing and aiming with his finger on the trigger. The 35 lied about his eligibility to purchase firearms. See, it's all lies and deceit. At the time, he was facing a charge of assault with a dangerous weapon. While waiting for the background check results, Chokra reportedly stated he would even the score and use the guns for God's wrath. They're that deluded, they think like that sort of action, like to do it in God's name. I mean, are they Fruit Loops or what? Blimey heck, they are absolute. They're off their nut. How on earth can they, crazy. Are we talking computers? Ooh. I don't know. I got a new laptop. Ray. The purchase of the 3 firearms was ultimately denied by the National Instant Criminal Background Check System. So that at least that worked. U.S. Attorney Jerome F. Gordon Jr. said in a statement that Chokra's sickening anti-Semitic threats and his apparent attempt to make good on them with guns are part of an alarming pattern of violence against believers. Well, read the Quran and the Hadiths and you'll understand where they're coming from. And then you'll see that it's still wrong. We'll do everything in our power to fight against this hatred and to protect the American family and their right to worship God without fear. Yep, that's the thing. But Islam wants you to worship a paedophile. So Chokra was arrested and charged with ethnic intimidation 2 days after the incident at the synagogue, according to the Oakland County Prosecutor's Office. Anti-Semitic and racist threats or ethnic intimidation of any kind will not be tolerated in our community, and every such incident will be investigated and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Good. According to the Detroit Free Press, in a Zoom court hearing for his prior assault charges 4 days after the synagogue incident, Chokra removed his pants and mooned the judge. Chokra was also abusive during his arraignment for 2 counts of ethnic intimidation the day prior, calling a magistrate a Jewish and Zionist bitch. Well, there you go. See, that proves the indoctrination of Islam to the point where you act like that because you just haven't got a clue of reality. But at least the Jewish family were actually protected, and the man has been dealt with accordingly in the court of law here in America. But the next news thing was to do with Danny Kruger, who's now moved to the Reform Party, as you may well have heard. But it is like you see a lot of places are becoming quite predominant in the Muslim world, and that's dangerous because of the ideology. So I don't know if Mohammed threw his I was going to say threw his toy out of his pram, but if he'd done that, then Prophet Muhammad would come for him and do stuff to him. But yeah, he's probably thrown a wobbly because he had no argument. I asked him for proof from the Bible, but we didn't have any, so it just goes to show that he's full of it. But they want to sit there giving it all that for Muslims in Islam when it's just pure sick. Oh. Oh. There we go. Reform UK's newest MP. Has claimed the whole cities have essentially become Muslim as a result of mass migration. Because they just do whatever and they don't care about the results. That sums Labour up. Danny Kruger, defected from the Tories earlier this month, claimed the UK was becoming a segregated society with whole communities living an entirely un-British life. Oh, be careful. Stating the truth, Mr. Kruger, will get you called an Islamophobe and a racist and all the other words. We know what you're saying is true, but the former Minister and Political Secretary to Boris Johnson in Downing Street joined Nigel Farage to help develop policy and a new unit preparing reform for government. Mr. Kruger said he believed the rate of immigration is simply too great and too swift. Yeah, it is. But that's the whole thing of why people are saying what they say, but they get called Islamophobic and all the other words. I mean, blimey heck, let me know in the comments. It's illegal immigration. OTT. 1,300 in the weekend. 1,300 in, 0 out. Asked why he had a particular concern around immigration from Muslim countries, the Reform MP said the problem is that Islam brings with it the expectation that you will live in a certain way that is not conforming to the traditional habits of life in the UK. Yes, you can't beat your wife, and you're not allowed to force yourself on people sexually, and you certainly are not allowed to groom 12 to 14-year-olds, or any age, under 16 for that matter, even though your prophet married a 6-year-old. It's primarily, in fact, it's entirely a question of degree, because we have many little subcultures within our country that live apart. Yeah. Sleeper cells, like, basically, aren't they? My concern is when whole cities essentially become Muslim, then we've got change that I don't think the people voted for and is not consistent with the best interests of our country as well. Yep, they will force it, say, right now, you're under Islamic rule, and we now force Sharia law on it. Can you imagine that? Sharia law in the UK. That'd be absolutely awful. It'd be like going back to 700 AD in the times of the Muhammad. The MP for East Wiltshire, who has been in the Commons since 2019, added, "We are getting a segregated society. We are seeing not just people, as has always been in this country, sad to say, class divisions and some cultural divisions, but whole communities live an entirely un-British life." Yeah, what was the point of coming here? Like, they're escaping all this, that and everything else, and then when they come here, they want to live like this, that and everything else, and just completely obliterate the British culture, insult people, kill people, groom people. Do you know what I mean? All I want to do is, like, break the law. How does that work? It's crazy. Mr. Kruger said there were many Muslims who successfully integrate, and we need more of that. Yes, we do. And that Britain had always been a home for religious diversity and cultural diversity. Yep, but I think the point's coming now, like, you can see it, like, you're going to have to ban Islam. Get rid of all mosques. A bit like China, really. Get rid of all the mosques. He added the threat is primarily cultural. Yeah, which is that we are talking about a very large numbers of people who have a very different way of life and a different worldview and who live set apart. So I think it's a legitimate concern, which it is, without being called Islamophobe, and explains why there is such distress and disquiet in so many communities around the UK, and it should never be disparaged. The pace of change, the rate of immigration is simply too great and too swift. Exactly. I mean, what do you think? I mean, it's, I think it was like 29.9% Muslim. The Tower Hamlets in London is about 29% Muslim. I mean, what? You don't really need to know much more than that, do you, really? Let's be honest, because tells you all you need to know. But this is the thing that you're... bomb Muslims for Israel. What? When did we bomb Muslims for Israel? Israel have been on their own during this whole war. And they're not coming to the West for safety. That's how stupid you are. They're not coming here for safety, are they? There's no reasons need to come here for safety. None at all. They proved the bloke, well, boots on ground type bloke, said the only threat in Afghanistan is unemployment. There's no jobs. So that's why they're coming here. And they're coming here in order to force their way of life on us. That's why they won't go to an Islamic country. It's already Islamic. It could be under Islamic rule. It could be under Sharia law. That's no good to them because they go there. They've got no one to convert. So they come into the UK. They go into France, Germany, Sweden. Do you know what I mean? That's why they're going there. It's nothing to do with safety. It's to do with trying to indoctrinate other people into their cult, their death cult that they disguise as a religion. And there's no way ever any normal person from the West will go, yeah, okay, marrying a 6-year-old and consummating the marriage when she's 9 is fine. And going to prayer, Mr. Fake Prophet Muhammad covered in semen is very normal, yeah. Said no one ever. It's crazy. They're coming anyway, following the instructions in the Quran. Exactly that. Going for lunch? All right, mate. Or going to the cafe, living the dream. Sharia councils already operating. Yes, they have since 1982. That was a mistake, opening that one in 1982. You know what it's like. Give them a millimetre. They take absolute hundreds of kilometres. Each Sharia council applies at least one of the 4 recognised Islamic schools of thought. Yep. But the whole idea of Sharia court is so they can side with the men. It's not female friendly because obviously a woman's only worth half that of a man. If a man inherits $1 million, it's because his sister would only inherit $500,000 because he's worth twice as much. Yep, women are held in the same regard as dogs and donkeys. You can beat your woman and this, that and everything else. I mean, blimey. And they call it a religion. I don't think so. Taliban publicly flogs 17 people in the street for breaking Islamic law. But look at that woman on the right there. What is that? I mean, what is the point of having a head and eyes and hair and lips and a nose. Isn't it? Absolutely crazy. Look, these blokes here, look, with their red tea towels on. They all went to Tesco's and found that you could buy like maybe a set of 2 or a set of 4 red and white tea towels, and they all thought, what a great offer. So that's why they're all wearing the same, even him in the background. The Taliban have publicly flogged 17 people, giving them up to 35 lashes each in a barbaric display of medieval punishment. Exactly there. That sentence and like that tells you all you need to know. Look, I've been highlighted it or low-lighted it by the looks of that. Absolutely disgusting. That you have no words for. I've highlighted it, but it seems like it makes it dark and makes it harder to see. But you can see in the grey. It literally is medieval punishment. It's barbaric. And you're telling me that's normal. And you're like, oh yeah, let's bring in Islamists. Bring more in Islamists in. Yeah. Ports of UK, Mohammed Shahidir Hussain says, I am new here. I don't know UK law. I only follow Sharia law. What? That's where I live. I live in Portsmouth. How come you know about this business, in Australia, and I don't, and I live in the same place where you just put that? I'm going to look that up. No, there's a video in there somewhere, isn't there? These sort of people, I like to talk to them, but they'll probably get it all physical. Do you know what I mean? And you like, mate, I wanted to give you an interview, and I'll probably, I'm a bit unfiltered. I'll just say it the way it is. I really don't give two hoots. There's no point glossing things over. Have a chat, then just say it the way it is, and they'll probably turn on me. But Sharia law, I mean, how pathetic. And there we are with a thing on screen saying like it's barbaric from the medieval days. Who gives people lashes? Unless it's a beauty shop and you're getting your eyelashes done, then you can have some lashes. But this is ridiculous. The hardline rulers of Afghanistan meted out the draconian sentences to a group of individuals convicted of alcohol and drug offences under the Taliban's interpretation of Islamic law. Wow. Such stupid things, yet such absolutely serious and ridiculous sentencing. I mean, wow. I mean, I'm all up like, I can be quite flippant and say, oh well, paedophiles, don't give two hoots. But imagine, if you've got a can of lager, yes I have. Right, 35 lashes. What? Are you for real? In a statement, the Taliban's Supreme Court in the capital, Kabul, said it passed the sentences of corporal punishment and imprisonment following a hearing at the Kabul Provincial Narcotics and Intoxicants Prevention Primary Court. That's a blimmin' mouthful. That's ridiculous. It shows that ideology. They're willing to do that to their people, who they're supposed to rule over. They have no feelings for anyone or anything, and that's all born from them being indoctrinated from the day they were born about rubbish written in Quran and Hadiths. The judicial body said 17 people were sentenced to prison for the crimes of selling and smuggling narcotics, tablets, alcoholic beverages. And hashish. The initial court sentenced the criminals to 7 months to 3 years and 6 months of mandatory imprisonment and 15 to 35 lashes. This decision was implemented after the Supreme Court confirmed the verdict. What? That is... Wow. I mean, in fact, look at them. I mean, public floggings and other corporal punishments have become increasingly common under Taliban rule in Afghanistan. And you're telling me the UK wants to deal with the Taliban? I don't think so. Not in my name as someone who's in England. Don't think so. Hundreds of ordinary citizens, men, women and children have been subjected to brutal lashings after being accused of committing adultery or theft. It gets worse. This is the mentality. This is pure satanic. It's evil. People are also being targeted for what the Islamic extremist regime calls the immoral crime of being homosexual. Imagine just being born gay and like, that's it, mate. Lashed. A United Nations report last year said a 12-year-old boy and a man were flogged in public for the crime of immorality. 12-year-old boy. I hope they don't say a man and a 12-year-old boy were actually like together or something, because 12-year-old boy, are you for real? On the same day in Balk province in the northwest, a woman and a man convicted of running away from home and adultery were publicly flogged 35 times. Come on now. This is like you're reading like some sort of made up book. It's just like, no, this is actually real, mate. This is real. The UN missions in Afghanistan recorded 234 public floggings in just 3 months this year, with more than 80 people whipped in several different provinces. Wow. And you want to tell me that's normal? And you want to tell me Islam is good? I don't think you can. That's... Wow. A UN spokesman said the de facto authorities continue to implement judicial corporal punishment in public, adding that it constitutes a form of cruel, inhuman or degrading treatment punishment which is prohibited under international human rights laws. Corporal punishment must cease. Yeah, but they're not going to listen to that, are they? Their Quran says, like, crap. More generally, we call on the de facto authorities to ensure full respect for due process and fair trial rights. Fair trial rights. In particular, access to legal representation for anyone confronted with criminal charges. It comes after an Indonesian woman was whipped with a cane in Aceh province in front of members of the public for breaking Sharia law. I mean, wow. I'm lost for words. I mean, blimey heck. There you go. That's Sharia law for you. And that's what they want in this country. Britain going back to the barbaric era of whipping people. But being whipped for being gay, wow. That's probably just one step away from their usual, let's just go for a high building or hang them from a crane or something. Absolutely disgraceful. You're telling me that's normal and that's what people want? I don't think so. I mean, blimey heck. That's... I'm lost for words, as you see. I'm not saying much. I'm just like, wow. That's what's going on right now. As we speak, in this day and age, 2025. But anyway, what's going to happen with Israel and Palestine and Gaza? Hopefully, what Donald Trump's been saying, it might work. But it all comes down to whether Hamas will actually agree to it. But there's been numerous of times, it's always Hamas that say no. It's always the Islamic fraternity that refuse, because they say no. If they're still in Israel and Jews, no. But yeah, you know, that's sort of like calling on genocide and ethnic cleansing. But no, we've got to accuse the Jews of that. It's pathetic. Makes me laugh. If you haven't liked this video, make sure you like it. Don't forget to subscribe because it's cool. Say it the way it is. We're live every day, Monday to Thursday, 1 PM. Friday, 7 PM. You can come up and have a chat. Why not? And on a Sunday, 3 PM. So yeah, it's all good. But it says on the bottom there, obviously, because I'm having trouble, you know, due to this type of content. Shadow banned. It's terrible. It's really hard. But what can I do? What can I do? But I will be back tomorrow at 1 PM. Wednesday at 1, then Thursday at 1, and then Friday at 7 PM. So make sure to subscribe, get that bell notification on, and there'll be happy days. Thank you for watching. Thank you for everybody in chat doing their thing. And until 1 PM tomorrow. Now, ladies and gents, that is the Wizard's words.